Hey, it's Dr. Ernst, host of the AskDrErnst Show, and I have a question for you. If you have high blood pressure, high cholesterol, high triglycerides, high blood sugars, and possibly even too much weight, did you know it could be an endocrine disruptor causing all of that? Bisphenol A, phthalates, PCBs, glyphosate, PFCs, all these chemicals can get stuck inside of our bodies, causing metabolic syndrome, which is everything we just described. So if you'd like to learn how to identify these and get rid of them, I'm offering you a free ebook and access to a masterclass I'm hosting this upcoming Saturday, August 10th at 10 a.m. During this masterclass, you'll learn exactly what you need to know to identify these endocrine disruptors and how to remove them from your body so that you can lower your blood pressure, lower your blood sugars, lower your triglycerides, and lose weight. To grab this free ebook and join us for the masterclass on Saturday, August 10th, simply text your name and your email to 704-906-2094. That's 704-906-2094.
Beyond wine, we really care about health. The health of the planet and the health of each other. That's what inspired us to start this business. Our family of team members meets every morning for a group meditation, followed by an open gratitude session. We believe a sound mind with a focus on peace is the best instrument for change. Joint meditation is the cornerstone of our company culture, and it helps us remember what's important, spreading joy and love, just like our family growers. Our family is a collection of passionate, health-conscious individuals who love to laugh and enjoy each other's company. We eat seasonally, grow our own vegetables, cook together, and share wine. Our team is incredibly dedicated to our mission. Everything from sourcing the wines to answering service questions. Your natural wines were found and sourced around the world by our wine team. They taste every one, oversee their lab testing, and choose exactly which ones go in which box. If you order, your individual box will be packed by our incredibly hardworking fulfillment team. If you have any questions, your service requests will be handled by a wonderfully loving member experience family who only have one goal in mind, your 100% happiness. This video is put together by our talented media team, filmed and edited in-house, just like the rest of our artful media. From our unique creations to our printed lifestyle piece called A Matter of Taste. We put love into everything we do, and we hope to share it with you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Happy Saturday. You're listening to the Ask Dr. Ernst Show. Welcome to another enlightening episode and or deep dive into the topics that matter the most with your health. I'm your host, Dr. Ernst, and we have a crucial discussion lined up. No one is talking about the endocrine disrupting hormones and or endocrine disruptors that is causing all of us to have elevated blood pressure, elevated cholesterol, elevated triglycerides, elevated weight, elevated labs, metabolic syndrome. It is a rather serious health condition only because most people don't know that they have it, and they just think they have something like, oh, I just have high blood pressure, or oh, I just have high blood sugars, or oh, I just have high cholesterol, or oh, I need to lose 25 pounds. Metabolic syndrome is a devastating health condition that is affecting millions worldwide. It is the cluster of high blood pressure, high blood sugar, lots of fat around your waist and or buttock or thighs, abnormal cholesterol levels, which leads to a huge risk of heart disease, stroke, and diabetes. And almost always the environment we live in is a root cause. Now, many of you have been tuning in over the last couple of weeks. I have updated and upgraded for Facebook and Instagram and for YouTube, which the camera's now working. Thank God we fixed our camera for YouTube. Metabolic Syndrome, the masterclass ebook, guys, it's like, 80-something pages long. It has everything that you need. And you can grab this free by texting the word META, M-E-T-A, to 704-906-2094. It's broken into 3 sections: a functional approach to weight loss resistance. This is why most people with metabolic syndrome are overweight. Heart, blood pressure, cholesterol, triglycerides, palpitations, arrhythmias, diabetes, heal thyself, heart, heal thyself. 3 sectional ebooks, functional weight loss. And listen, I'm not just talking about a small ebook. Watch this. It has a 4-week done-for-you meal plan. It has for you a 4-week done-for-you shopping list. It even has a 4-week supportive recipe guide. Inside of here, why their way medicine doesn't work, why counting calories doesn't work, why you need to incorporate chiropractic care, how to test for neurological interference, how to look at x-rays, the secrets to losing 10 to 15 pounds in as little as a couple weeks. Here's your meal plans. Look at this. Boom, boom, shopping list, done for you. Recipes, done for you. And then it goes into heart disease, heal thyself, and diabetes, heal thyself. And this book is so thick that we can't staple it anymore. It's spiral bound. Are we going to mail it to you? No. We're going to email it to you. But we need to know if you want it. So it's your first name, your last name, and the word META with your email, and just send. Now I'm going to be transparent. I asked all of you to not just send the word META. And you know what? It's almost as if you did it just to scourge me or to spite me. We're going to do it anyway, Dr. Ernst. Like last week, I think we had like 96 people text in, which is pretty good. But half of you just said META. And my team's literally like, thanks, but we need your name and email. So just make it super easy. Send us a text to 704-906-2094, 704-906-2094 with your first and your last name, the word META, and your email. I know it's a lot. Like, oh my God, Dr. Ernst, are you serious? Yes, super easy. Your email, boom, META, boom, first name, boom. It can be that easy. The ebook is yours for free. And hey, listen, okay, we're in the month of August. Like, can you believe how fast this is going by? Like, it's almost the fall. Ugh. But anyway, next Saturday, the 10th, is the master class. It is the one on metabolic syndrome. If you have high blood pressure, high cholesterol, high triglycerides, high blood sugars, too much weight, this is it. We're going to teach you how to lose 20 to 30 pounds in as little as 4 weeks. We're going to teach you how to get your medications down. We're going to teach you how to revolutionize your health. We're going to teach you everything you need to know in order so that you become your own doctor. The ebook is just step number 1. Download it and start reading it. It's free. And then number 2 is join us for the masterclass. It is Saturday next week at 10 a.m. in the morning. And you register right now by sending over your information with the text. 704-906-2094. First name, last name, email, and the word META. Okay, so all throughout this show today, we're going to be discussing what is this issue called endocrine disruptors. What the heck are they? Which ones are causing all the problems? Where do you find them and how do you get rid of it? It's a super easy show. Because of the fact that most of you have probably never heard of an endocrine disruptor, it is simply this: a chemical or a toxin that interferes with your endocrine system or your hormones and therefore causes an effect in your body. This might change how you sleep. It might change how you feel. It can change your lab values. It can make your cortisol go up and make your insulin go up and make your sugars go up and make your blood pressures go up. So we have to talk about these things called endocrine disruptors. And remember, why they are so dangerous is they mimic your natural hormones. There is some evidence that says, for example, certain plastic products can fake your body into thinking that estrogen is floating around. These are called estrogen mimickers. By doing this, this chemical or this toxin will actually bind to a receptor in your cell and say, hey, I'm estrogen, off you go. It's kind of like, it's a bad analogy, but it's the only one I can think of. Here is a micro SD card. And man, they're so small these days, I'm going to have to probably put it right next to the camera lens for you to even see it. Micro SD card. Yeah, we didn't forget about you, YouTube. Okay, so we have these micro SD cards. Now watch this. What if in this card there is videos of a movie that you want to watch? Well, you have to put it into a receiver that then lets you plug it into your computer. And, we have this connector, right? So if I take this micro SD card and I push it in, if I do it the right way, right? Maybe it's upside down. This is the benefit of live TV. There it is. Okay, so see how the card is inside. So I plug this in and there's a movie and I can watch the movie. Yay. Now watch this. What if there's like some other kind of movie that you don't want to watch on here? Let's say it's a horror film and you hate horror movies. Well, it fits into the connector and boom, we watch a horror movie. This would be an endocrine disruptor, for example. Here's the receptor. If this is estrogen and it does what it's supposed to do, yay. But if this is a chemical that's in the exact same shape and it fits into the estrogen receptor, no yay. Goodness. Endocrine disruptors cause a cascade of hormone imbalance because they act just like certain hormones. They also tend to block the receptor. If you notice this, there is something inside. Again, man, I got to get super close. It's in there, isn't it? So if I want to put another SD card in here, I can't. No, I'm not going to forget about you guys, YouTube. You're just way over there. Okay? Can't get in there, can I? So what we need to do is we need to make sure we understand sometimes they mimic and sometimes they block. And as an effect, they alter the production and your metabolism. So you might be wondering why these disruptors do this or where they come from. I hate to say it, they're found in almost everything around you today. In this moment, I'm going to talk about the top 5 endocrine disruptors that cause metabolic syndrome. These 5 are lurking in every section of your home, your work office, and your environment, and they are the big boys. Bisphenol A or BPA. And I know what you're thinking, like, oh my God, Dr. Ernst, you don't understand. I have BPA-free everything. This is BPA-free, my that BPA-free. I must be free from BPA. Well, there's still BPB and BPC and BPD and BPE. BPA is just the most famous one because they found out how toxic this stuff actually is. It's found in a lot of plastics, which is why like cups and paper, paper cups, they're lined in plastic. When you pour coffee into that to-go cup, the inside is actually lined with plastic because water and paper don't go well together. So they're food containers and the linings of food containers and the canned foods and the linings and all this stuff. Some studies show that BPA can mimic estrogen so much so that it looks just like it, and it can actually induce insulin resistance, making you store fat, become overweight, and making your blood sugars go up. You can test for these things. I'm going to tell you about the tests in just a moment, but I want to share with you where you find them today. Because everybody says like, oh, I don't have any BPA. All of my bottles and all my drinking products say no BPA. Well, ready for this? Many plastic containers and water bottles still use the polycarbonate plastics. And when they're polycarbonate, they often contain a bisphenol. Now, just because it's BPA free doesn't mean it's BPB, C, D, E, F, G, H, I to Z free. And yes, there are BPA and BPB and BPCs. So we find them in a lot of water bottles and food containers, especially those knockoff ones and the cheap ones from China. They are found still today in a lot of canned foods. It's common to line the inside of a canned food with this for 2 reasons. It prevents corrosion of the can, and it prevents contamination of the food and the drinks inside. But the lining can actually become exposed to fruits and vegetables and soups and tomatoes and all this kind of stuff. So if you're eating canned foods, we tend to say like, ugh, you might have high BPAs. Here's the biggest one of today. All the receipts. So if you have like, one of these kind of things, so here's a receipt from some gas station that I was at. Well, there's no ink that prints on this. What they do is they use thermal ink. Do you see how when I just scratched my finger across that tape, it makes a black line? Well, there's bisphenol A all over those receipts. And so like me, many of you are touching them and you absorb the BPA through. If it's thermal, cash register receipts, credit card receipts, gas station receipts, handling these receipts transfers small amounts of BPA to your skin, which is absorbed through your body. A lot of plastic baby products, high in BPA. And here's an issue of today that nobody talks about. The composite fillings and the ceramic sealings of our teeth. So if you're like, hey, I had all my amalgams taken out. Yay, I no longer have silver fillings. They put all the ceramic fillings in. Well, guess what? Now you have high BP somethings. BPA is found in a lot of ceramic stuff. So that's a problem. Then you have the phthalates. These are the bad boys, right? They're found in plastics and they help to make them less breakable. So if you ever noticed how like a Nalgene bottle can be dropped from the Empire State Building and it doesn't break, you can thank the phthalates for that. So it might be BPA free, but it could be high in phthalates. Phthalates have been linked to diabetes and obesity. They interfere with the functions of hormones that regulate fat storage like leptin and insulin. And you can find phthalates in a lot of things today. So what's the top 5 that phthalates are found in? Ready for this? Personal care products like shampoos, conditioners, body lotions, deodorants. They use them because they act as a solvent, so it helps things to stick together. This is a big one that's going to hurt a lot of you. If your floor is a vinyl tile, a PVC, a polyvinyl chloride flooring, they often have phthalates in them unless you're buying specifically phthalate-free flooring, which most of you probably are not. Most plastic food containers, Ziploc bags, saran wraps, food storage, Tupperwares and Pyrex, the red lid with the sort of clear base. If you heat your food up inside of it, when it's touching the heated plastic, it pulls the phthalates. Most children's toys like soft teething toys and teething rings and infant flexible chewy thingies, even your dog chew toys. And most detergents and air fresheners and candles that are scented, the air wicks and the air fresheners and all the AirPods and all that stuff, phthalates. Another big one, this is a hard one to deal with, is polychlorinated bisphenols. We'll just call them PCBs. And again, guys, I have a lot of information for free in our ebook on what are these chemicals, where do they come from, how do you get rid of them, how do you detox, all inside the Masterclass ebook. If you want it, just text your first name, your last name, the word META, and your email, and we'll send you the ebook for free, and you get to join us for next Saturday's Masterclass, where we'll teach you step by step how to identify, how to get rid, and how to heal. The PCBs are tricky because they disrupt thyroid hormones, and they're linked to various metabolic diseases, including cancers. And where you tend to find PCBs today is in a lot of electrical equipment. So if you're somebody who has a hobby, works on like circuit boards and stuff like that, transformers, capacitors, and electrical devices, they could have been made before the PCBs were banned. Right now, like BPA, it's sort of a banned product, but we tend to find them in stuff. They're often found today in caulking, sealants, and paints, and light bulb ballasts, and building materials. So if you have a brand new house and that smell of like a new house, you're smelling PCBs. Certain soil and water can become contaminated, so it might be just in the drinking water. And because it's in water, unfortunately, a lot of fish, specifically those around lakes, like the Lake Norman fish, the Mountain Island lake fish. If you don't know this, if you're walking along like a park path near one of the lakes, they have this huge sign that says, "Don't eat the fish from this lake." They're known to be contaminated with PCBs. They accumulate inside the fatty tissues of fish, so especially big fish like salmon and tuna and swordfish. They can be high in PCBs unless you're knowing that they are wild caught or, ethically, sustainably farmed, which I don't even know if that is such a thing. And a lot of old consumer products that might still be around today, hydraulic fluids, motor oils, all this stuff from the past. So you might be thinking like, oh, I am safe. But if you grew up in like the 50s and you actually worked on your car, where like you'd lean over the hood, crack open some beers with your best friends and try to rev your engines and, replace your carburetors. If you did that yourself, you may have been exposed in the past. Another big one, we could do a whole show about this, is glyphosate. Who knows? I'm probably going to get kicked off of YouTube or Twitter or Facebook for even just mentioning the word glyphosate. But it's an herbicide used along the most farming products today. Primarily, it controls weeds in the agricultural and the residential settings. Like you'll go to Lowe's and buy Roundup, which is ridiculous. It's the most toxic chemical you can ever have on you, in you, or around you, and yet it's just readily available over the counter. 33 countries have banned this product where you can't even buy it at all, but in the US, just walk right into wherever and buy it. I think even Target sells it. It was derived from an organophosphate compound back in like the 70s, and today it is the #1 hormone disruptor of the human body. Some studies suggest it can lead to diabetes. It can affect your intestines. There's other studies showing heart disease, even cancers, strokes. And so while you will go online and Google, does glyphosate cause X? And they're going to say, no, it's because, the big food industries in Monsanto, now owned by Bayer, is trying to hide it all from you. Okay. Where do you find glyphosate today? Well, #1, in your garage. If you have a container of Roundup and you go and you spray this on your weeds, shame on you. Not only are you poisoning your yard, but you're poisoning your neighbor's yard. You're inhaling it. It has a specific smell, doesn't it? And it's probably getting on your feet because most people don't wear hazmat suits like you're supposed to. I was at this conference over the weekend, and one of the lawn crew people was spraying around a tree. And my wife and I beelined it. U-turn, walk the other way, because we do not even want to get close to this stuff. And the lady was out there in flip-flops. I mean, come on, you're going to get it all over your feet. Genetically modified crops are sprayed heavily with glyphosate. So if you're eating classic corn and wheat and soy and sugar beets and just, standard non-organic foods, you're going to be exposed to Roundup. It's also found in a lot of grains, so wheat and corn and barley and rice and oats. And again, if it's not organic, it's guaranteed to be sprayed. They use it as what's called a desiccant. It dries the grains out before they're harvested. And so what happens is it makes it easier because they're not wet and they won't clog the equipment if they're really dry. So because of this, a lot of cereals and breads and grains in the U.S. are fully contaminated. And even many of the organic ones, though they don't use the product on it when it's growing, are contaminated because this stuff is so toxic. If you pass non-organic grains through a machine and then you pass organic grains through the same machine, the organic grains will be contaminated by the non-organic machine. Just processing it. It's so dangerous. It sticks around. It's like a residue. A lot of fruits and vegetables today are sprayed with glyphosate. I know it sounds weird, but leafy greens and potatoes and grapes and fruits and vegetables, they don't want weeds growing around the plants, so they spray the dirt, and a lot of the non-organic vegetables will contain the residues inside of them. And now, again, because animals eat these residues of these vegetables, like soy and corn and silage and all this stuff, if there's contamination of the glyphosate on the grains that the animals eat, they then get it in their body, and you eat a non-organic, non-pasture-raised, non-grass-fed piece of meat, beef or pork or whatever, and it's contaminated. So it is the most toxic stuff. It's like it goes through generations, and it disrupts everything, causing all kinds of disease. And can you find this by doing some tests? Yes, we're going to explain that to you in a second. The next one is a PFC, or the polyfluorinated chemicals. These are tricky ones because they still exist today. They're classically found in like non-stick cookware or shirts or clothing that are water repellent. Okay, some fast food packaging even has it inside of it. They're highly persistent. They do not leave the human body. Recently, they found that the PFOAs are found in your contact lenses and in Band-Aids. So these PFs, or polyfluorinated compounds, where do we find them today? Non-stick cookware. Teflon coated, right? If you can crack an egg with no butter and it rolls around on your pan, chuck that thing out the door and grind it and throw it away. Water repellent fabrics, outdoor, umbrellas and tents and outdoor furniture that's resistant to the water. Or heaven forbid, you get some of these clothes that are like stain resistant where you could dump wine on them and it just rolls right off. Food packaging, by far the most toxic is microwave popcorn bags. They're loaded with these PFCs. Fast food wrappers, pizza boxes, grease-resistant papers. Because, normally you put oil on paper, boom, it shows up all over the place. And so a lot of the fast food companies are like, oh, look at our bags turning into these liquid oil bombs. So they coat them so that you don't see the oil on the bag. Personal care products, shampoos, dental floss, that's a big one. They got Slam, Johnson & Johnson, right, for you flossing with PFCs. And so they're everywhere. Okay, so how do we work on this? Well, number one, you have to know what they are. Like, you can't not know. So now that you know what the top 5 are and where they come from, I'm going to teach you how to test for them, give you the reference ranges of what they should be. So if you come back with glyphosate of level blank, it's bad. Anything above 0, by the way, that's an easy one. And we're going to show you how to get rid of them, how to pull them out of your body. So that's, of course, going to be part 2 of our show. And I always like to transition by saying, take a moment now, whether you're watching online on Facebook, watching online on YouTube, got to reach for their camera, or if you're tuning in on the airways of 1110 AM, 99.3 FM, News Talk 1110 WBT, or you're watching on some sort of a podcast, after fact, video cast. I mean, we're everywhere, guys. We're on every streaming channel you can find us. 2 cameras, simulcasting both. We're trying to get this information out because so many people, when they meet us, go, man, how come I didn't know this? Well, it means you aren't tuning in to our channels and you're not downloading our free ebooks. I mean, come on. When's the last time you got nearly almost 100-page book for free, electronically delivered? And by the way, it's a living document. When I make an edit to this, you can re-download it immediately and get the updates. So how do you get this living ebook? Real easy. Take out your cell phone, open up your messaging app, and type in this number, 704-906-2094. And then the message says this, META, Meta. First name, last name, John Smith. Email, johnsmith@gmail.com. Send. Shoosh. It goes to my team. They're going to read through all of these. They will then register you for the masterclass, which is next Saturday, the 10th of August at 10 a.m. in the morning. It's free. It's online. You don't have to go anywhere. You just open your computer, click, boom, you're online. And then you get the masterclass workbook. And again, inside of this, the top 5 herbs to regulate your blood sugars, the top herbs to lower blood pressure, the heart-healthy food lists, the tests you can do at home to heal yourself. And watch this, a 4-week done-for-you, repeating 7-day meal plan, shopping list, and recipe guide. Let's read some of these to you, right? So we have day 1, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Day 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Proteins, vegetables, fats, nuts and seeds, olives, where to go, what to do. And how about this? Avocado spinach smoothies, salad with mixed greens, grilled chicken, veggies, and olives and olive oil. Grilled turkey patties with asparagus and pine nuts. Beef stir fry with broccoli, bell peppers, and sesame oil. Lamb chops with sauteed kale and macadamia nuts. Chia seed pudding with toasted coconut flakes. Sardine salads. Beef kebabs with zucchini and squash. Baked cod. Like, guys, I can keep going. 15 days worth of everything you need for free for you inside this ebook. Text the word META with your first name, your last name, your email, and hit send to 704-906-2094. Hey, it's the Ask Dr. Ernst Show. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Hi, my name is Gary Greenfield with Greenfield Water Solutions, and I want to introduce you to our newest product, the MR500. It's a whole house structured water filter system. It's set up in an all stainless steel multi-round filter housing. It features inlet and outlet for the water, a bleeder valve for when you're changing out the filters to reduce pressure, and to remove the top for access to the filters. We simply open up the clamp, remove the top, and this plate here holds all the filters in place. Simple to remove. It comes out, and you can see what we have on the inside here. It's 5 Aquamedics filters and a vortexing tube and a harmonizer. That's the whole system. This is designed to filter 5 gallons per minute, and all of the contaminants that it does remove are listed on the website, which is a very broad array of contaminants. These are the highest rated filters that I know of on the market that are filter cartridges. They can be changed out yearly, and of course the process is very simple. You won't have to hire a plumber to do a change out, and the filters are available from Greenfield Water Solutions. And if you want to know more about this, you can read about it on the product page or give us a call. Thanks for watching. That's it for now from Greenfield Water Solutions.
Purity Coffee is setting a new standard for healthy coffee. We lab test to be free of pesticides, mold, and mycotoxins, and we roast for high antioxidant and low acrylamide levels. When it comes to your coffee, purity matters. You will be able to taste and feel the difference. For first-time customers, we are offering 15% off new orders with the code YouTube. A lot of our customers say that purity makes them feel as good as it tastes.
How many calories are in our wines? Generally, calories in wine can vary, from around 95 to over 200, depending on the alcohol and sugar content of the wine. Now, unfortunately, since there are no nutritional labels required on wine bottles, it can actually be very hard to tell the true calorie content of your glass. Since our wines have less than 12.5% alcohol by volume, each glass of our pure natural wine has roughly 95 to 135 calories.
Hey, it's Dr. Ernst, host of the AskDrErnst Show, and I have a question for you. If you have high blood pressure, high cholesterol, high triglycerides, high blood sugars, and possibly even too much weight, did you know it could be an endocrine disruptor causing all of that? Bisphenol A, phthalates, PCBs, glyphosate, PFCs, all these chemicals can get stuck inside of our bodies, causing metabolic syndrome, which is everything we just described. So if you'd like to learn how to identify these and get rid of them, I'm offering you a free ebook and access to a masterclass I'm hosting this upcoming Saturday, August 10th at 10 a.m. During this masterclass, you'll learn exactly what you need to know to identify these endocrine disruptors and how to remove them from your body so that you can lower your blood pressure, lower your blood sugars, lower your triglycerides, and lose weight. To grab this free ebook and join us for the masterclass on Saturday, August 10th, simply text your name and your email to 704-906-2094. That's 704-906-2094.
Hey, this is Towns from Lenny Boy. We were founded in 2011. In 2012, we became the only certified organic kombucha that's made in the Southeast. And now in 2013, we're taking it up one more notch and making alcoholic kombucha. We are now an official North Carolina state licensed brewery. We're still going to have our traditional non-alcoholic kombuchas, our strawberry, ginger, Lost Rose, and kombucha beer. It's going to be the first in the Southeast, one of the only ones in the country. One of our first kombucha beers is a cantaloupe mint. It's going to come in about 5.7% alcohol. Another flavor that we're coming out with is our Downright Root. It's a ginger and sweet potato kombucha beer and at 9% alcohol. We use North Carolina certified organic hops in all of our kombucha beer. It still has all the great B vitamins and probiotics in it. It just ranges from 1% alcohol all the way up to 11% ABV. Look for our non-alcoholic kombucha and our kombucha beer within North Carolina. Our tap room is going to be opening up here in the next couple weeks. Come try all of our new flavors and some of our great old flavors. Remember, always leave it better than you found it.
Welcome back. Happy Saturday. You're listening to the Ask Dr. Ernst Show. My name is Dr. Ernst, and we are having today an incredible discussion about metabolic syndrome. We've been giving away my Metabolic Syndrome Masterclass ebook. Inside this ebook, meal plan, shopping list, guides, 20 pounds down in 10 weeks. I have a guide in there for you. How to reverse high blood pressure, cholesterol, triglycerides. There's a guide. How to get your blood sugars down. There's a guide. How do you get this book? Simple. Text your name, your email, and the word META, M-E-T-A, to 704-906-2094. Again, 704-906-2094. We are talking about the endocrine disrupting chemicals and how they cause metabolic syndrome. Again, if you're tuning in since the top of the hour, you guys are like, just get to the meat and potatoes. How do we test for these guys and how do we get rid of them? That's what we're going to do today, right now. But you might be joining in going like, what the heck is a metabolic syndrome and what is an endocrine disruptor? Metabolic syndrome is if you have high blood pressure, high cholesterol, high triglycerides, high blood sugar, and too much weight. If you have 3 of those 5 things, you have metabolic syndrome. But my doctor says I don't. Well, they are clueless. They might be diagnosing you individually for each of those 5. You might be injecting semaglutides to lose weight. Shame on you, because that stuff is so toxic. You might be taking metformin or glucophage or insulin for your insulin. You might be taking a statin for your blood pressure or cholesterol. You might be taking lisinopril or HCTZ or any of the hundreds of calcium channel blockers, alpha blockers, beta blockers, all the blockers for your blood pressure. You might be on some sort of fish oil supplement to try to lower the fats in your liver. And you might be at the gym trying to sweat off all the weight when we're going, hey, did you not know that these hormones get out of balance because of chemicals that can cause damage? And so we talked about bisphenol A being a big one. We talked about the phthalates being another big one. We talked about the PFAs and the PCBs and the pesticides and all this stuff that we're exposed to. And now I'm going to teach you how to test for these because your doctors do not run these tests. Guaranteed they don't, because they test blood. And guess what? Chemicals that are poisonous come out of your blood very fast. So if a medical doctor says, we ran glyphosate and there's no glyphosate in your blood, yeah, because it's probably in your bones and in your kidneys and in your organs and in your gut, because your body says, yeah, get it out of the blood fast. This is why I have a struggle with healthcare providers who say stuff like, you don't need to test for metals, because when we run blood tests, we never see metals in blood, like mercury and aluminum and arsenic. And if we do, it's like extremely dangerous. Hey, those of you who are texting over, 704-906-2094, that's where we want the Metabolic Syndrome ebook to go to you. So thank you for texting. And again, ready? Just your name and your email and the word META. And the ebook is yours and the masterclass is yours. And all this stuff I'm giving away today for free is yours. Okay, how do we test then these endocrine disruptors? Well, ready? They're so toxic, your body's trying to get rid of them. So does it make sense that we don't want to check your blood, which is being recirculated? We want to figure out what is coming out of you that doesn't go back into you. And it's real simple. Stool and urine. And because a lot of these things are water soluble, we want to use your urine. And so it's really easy. They're all urine tests. Okay, so ready for this? BPA can be detected in a urine sample. The measurement is in something called micrograms per liter. I'm going to say it to you like this. The EPA will say there is no known level of what's considered toxic. Hogwash. You want it to be less than 2 micrograms, in my opinion. Technically, it should be 1 or 0. Now, most of us have been exposed to this thing. So if you like freaking out, if you go get one of these done and it's like at a 3, you should just know like, wow, that's pretty high. 5 is even higher. 10 is even higher. So there's not really like a range like there is in classic medicine for tests, because this stuff is not defined by medicine. So the golden rule is if your BPA levels are more than 2 micrograms per liter, then you got a problem. Phthalates, right? Again, these can be tested by urine tests. Now, this is a little different because the results come back either as nanograms per milliliter or micrograms per liter. Again, remember, milliliter and liter, 2 different things. So I'm going to say to you this. It's generally accepted that if you have less than 50 nanograms per milliliter, then you're okay. But again, how much phthalates do you want? 0. So if you have a score of 10, that's better than a score of 20, which is better than a score of 30 and 40. But like, no one freaks out until it's 50. And again, thank you guys for texting in. I'm not sure if you can hear them, but ding, ding, ding. I keep hearing text. Then we have the PCBs, or the polychlorinated bisphenols. And these are the ones that are found again in like contaminated drinking water, in your fish, and things like that. Okay, it is again a urine test, and it's in either micrograms per liter or nanograms per milliliter. And typically you want this thing to be at 0. So if you're seeing like 1 point anything, you have to go, oh my God, it's bad. If it's 1.5, it's worse. It's not as bad as if it's 2.5. If it's over 10, it's considered an extremely high exposure. And even the EPA would say that's a full-blown toxicity. Pesticides, glyphosate, for example. Again, very controversial for me to even tell you this, but there is a urine test for glyphosate, and it's available, and you can have it run for you. If you need some help with chemical testing, just reach out to us. We do this all day long. If it is less than 1 nanogram per milliliter, then it's considered to be low levels or okay. Obviously, you want it at 0. Now, here's where it gets risky. 1 to 10 for glyphosate is controversial. Some resources will say you're toxic if you're over 5. Others will say it has to be over 10. But it's generally recognized that if it's higher than 10, then it's a problem. And that's nanograms per milliliter. Higher than 10, it's a problem. Now, I've run these tests on several patients, and sometimes they've come back at like 56 or 97 or like extremely high levels. And the problem with glyphosate is we know it disrupts your hormones. We know it can cause cancer. We know it can cause heart disease. There's whole books written about this stuff. In fact, there was a study done about maybe 8-10 years ago where they showed the more glyphosate you're exposed to, the more of every condition, including death, you end up with. So we're not making any of this up. This stuff is extremely toxic, extremely poisonous. And for many of you, it's why you have the elevations in your numbers, and your doctors are just going, well, here's more meds and here's more chemicals. Let's fix a chemical problem with chemicals. Doesn't make sense. Okay. What about the PFCs? Those are, again, the non-sticks and the Band-Aids and the dental flosses and the contact lenses. Well, again, they're going to be either in nanograms per milliliter or micrograms per liter. I can only find references for the nanogram per milliliter amount, and guess what it says? 0 is considered normal. If it's over 1, it's a problem. So if it's between 1 and 10. So you're going to find that almost all of these, they're going to say you should have 0. And they'll allow up to 1. And if it's higher than 1, it's scored on its severity. But when you hit 10, it's considered extremely high. And that's the same with the PFCs. Now that we know how to test for them, the question I often get is, well, can my doctor run these tests? And the answer is usually no, just because there's no drug to get rid of these things. So if they test for it and it's positive, they are required to tell you what to do. And if there's no drug to help you, there's no treatment. So therefore, there should be no testing, because why would I test for something I can't treat? That'd be a problem. So in the Metabolic Syndrome Masterclass ebook, I have the detox guides. I have the herbs that help you to pull these chemicals and these poisons. I have the diet. I've got everything you need for free. Free. You just have to download it. text your name, first and last, the word META, M-E-T-A. Yes, it is the name of Facebook now, I understand. But it's also an acronym for Metabolic, and your email. So the dings that are coming in, I should see first name, last name, email, and the word meta, okay? Ping, 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 ping. So like I can already see they're coming in. So just keep doing that. I'm going to give you an at-home detox, and it's going to sound so crazy, but it works because often the simplest method is the most effective. Some of you are going to be like, what product do I take? How do I suck this stuff out of me? Well, your body naturally knows how to get rid of it. So step number 1 is stop poisoning yourself. You have to remove the source of the toxicity. Hopefully it makes sense. If you want to stop smoking, you better stop buying cigarettes. If you want to stop drinking, you better stop buying alcohol. And don't go hang out in bars where people smoke and drink. And if you're a cigarette smoker and you want to stop smoking, don't hang around people that smoke because it's a trigger and it's going to cause more problems. So hopefully it makes sense. If you're putting these chemicals on you unknowingly, stop. Well, Dr. Ernst, I don't know what I'm supposed to use. Well, we have resources. We have websites. And go to AskDrErnst.com. There's do-it-yourself everythings. How to make soaps and lotions and potions and creams for your whatever daily use. Go to my website, AskDrErnst.com. Type in chemical detox. There's an entire section of it. Download the ebook. It has the detox in it. I'm trying, guys. I'm literally trying to just give it away. It's all free. Okay? I'm going to summarize it for you in the next 14 minutes. Step number 1, stop rubbing this crap all over your body. Stop spraying it on your goodness. I'm trying to say yard and lawn at the same time. So I said yarn. Don't spray this stuff into your cracks of your driveway. Let the dandelion grow. Who cares about clover? Okay, spraying these heavy chemicals and using nonstick cooking pans and wrapping all your food in plastic is the reason we're so sick today. If you go back 50 years ago, we didn't do half of what we do with our foods today that we didn't do back then. And the biggest, in my opinion, atrocity against all humanity is the hybridization and the genetic modifying of food so that we can spray them with glyphosate and they won't die. I mean, think about it. The scientists are like, well, when we spray this stuff, everything dies. And we don't want our food to die, so how do we get the food not to die? And some scientists are like, well, if you take the genes from a salmon and a tomato and merge them together and jam them inside the plant, they will survive the Roundup. And we were like, wow, let's do it. And we screwed up seeds in the United States. And in fact, we even spray this stuff on it after they grow. And even right before it's harvested, we spray it again. So we're spraying all these herbicides all over our food. And we're wondering why we're so sick, because people will say, well, I'm trying to eat fruits and vegetables. I'm trying to go vegan. No, you need to go glyphosate free. Eat food that doesn't have chemicals and your body will heal by itself. So step number 1 is stop using the products that are so dangerous. If you need help, go to AskDrErnst.com. We have an entire section on detoxing from food products and from chemical products. Then number 2, obviously, stop eating foods that have touched plastics or chemicals or have been in cans and things like that. Prioritize your organic produce, obviously, to try to reduce. Notice I didn't say eliminate, because today even organic is not good enough. You want to make sure that when you do focus on the foods you eat, that we incorporate detoxification foods. The cruciferous broccoli, cauliflowers, garlic, cilantros. These are all super powerhouse greens, super powerhouse detoxifiers. I know this is going to sound strange, but you can actually flush a lot of this junk out of your body if you just drank water instead of everything else you're drinking. Look, I know today it's very popular to drink energy drinks, Celsius and Monster and Red Bull. I mean, I was coming back from a trip and I had to stop at the gas station because my kids had to go to the bathroom. And I walk in and every single person in the line, Gatorade, Red Bull, Celsius. Like, what happened to the days where we just drank water? Well, Dr. Ernst, water just doesn't taste very good. Like, no, it's not supposed to taste like anything. It's a liquid. It's water. Well, if you want to flavor it, put lemons and, limes and stuff inside of it. Thank you for texting in, whoever that was. Love it. Love it. Tara, I'll just give you a shout out. And Tara, man, she did it perfectly. First name, last name, email, and send. And the word meta. Okay, if you drink more water, you can actually flush this stuff out of you. Water, guys. Well, what if the water runs through tea, Dr. Ernst? Can I have that? I mean, sure. What if it runs through coffee? Sure. Water. Okay, not any, because again, remember, all those cans are lined with, now you're paying attention. Then we want to start working on changing our lifestyle. Stop using plastic containers, especially for your foods, okay? No more plastic wraps, no more saran wraps, no more Ziplocs. Oh my God. What am I supposed to do? Eat your food and only make enough that you would want to eat it so you don't have to store it in containers. And stop buying foods that are in plastic containers. And for the love of God, don't heat your food up in a plastic container in the microwave. You want to talk about death upon death of death. Make sure your products are natural, free from chemicals. There is a great website called ewg.org. So the environmentalworkinggroup.org/skin deep. It is a national database of all products, at least most of them, and you can sort by the dirtiest or the cleanliness. We obviously say sort by the cleanest. So if you're wanting like a shaving cream, thank you again for texting in, a shaving cream, then you go to ewg.org/skin deep. You'd click on shaving creams and you say, show me the best first. If you want to have a wild ride, show me the worst first. And probably the product you're using is on the worst list. A lot of this stuff is also found in the air and the water that we drink. So you need to filter your air and your water. I know, right? Oh, it's a lot of work. Well, when you live in a toxic world, you have to clean things out. I currently use a molecule, which is a special air filter that sucks all the air of the house through it. And it can use a peroxide-like solution in this thing called PCOS, which is basically a way to ionize the air, filter it, and get rid of mold, spores, and viruses. Uses the UV light and has a very special filter. Some people put these whole house sort of air treatment systems in with either a green light or a blue ultraviolet light. Those are great. Scrubbers, as they're called, air scrubbers. And some of you just need to invest in a really high-quality HEPA filter and just actually run the thing and let it suck all the gunk out of your air. There's a difference between taking particles and dust out of the air and actually pulling chemicals. The reason I personally use the thing called molecule is because it actually removes VOCs and viruses and mold and other airborne toxins, not just dust. MOLEKULE. This is not an endorsement. They don't sponsor my show at all. Their products are just really good, and I use them personally. We have one in each bedroom, and we have one in the main living space. Okay, so we need to filter the air we breathe. We've got to filter the water that we drink. And we did a whole show a couple weeks ago about water. And if you need water, we have a great resource. They are a partner and a sponsor. It's greenfieldwater.com. So GREENFIELD water.com. Go to their website. You can see all the stuff they have. But more importantly, top left-hand corner is a phone number that you can call and ask for either Zach or Gary. Don't forget to tell them you're an Ask Dr. Ernst listener because you get 10% off. How cool is that? Something happened again to the camera for YouTube. We're going to see if we can reboot this thing. I don't understand. Like I buy this special camera for YouTube, and it just freaks out every single time. So we're going to see what happens here. Anyway, as we continue, you have to filter your water. And the neat thing about Greenfield Water is they have a source of the best water you can ever have as far as filtration, cleansing, cleaning. And again, greenfieldwater.com. You guys get 10% off as Ask Dr. Ernst listeners. All you have to do is give them the code Ask Dr. Ernst, and guess what? It is yours. Another way you can sort of clean your house out is just ventilate the air in your house. So like let your house sort of flush. Let it go through. What is this thing doing? Well, it says it's recording. It says it's live. No, it doesn't. I don't know. We're just going to let it do what it's doing. So you need to just flush the air out of your house. Open the windows. Let it air out. It's the great thing about, the fact that your inside air is usually worse than the outside air. And I think the camera's gone now. Goodbye, camera. I thought we fixed you. I guess we didn't. My team's probably going to switch us to the YouTube camera. So if all of a sudden it just changes, it's because we're on a new one. So what do we do to get this stuff out? Well, we have to test it. Okay, so number one, we talked about the tests. They're all urine tests. And what we do is we use a combined urine test to measure all of them. Then we got to figure out how bad it is. And if you have really high levels, that could explain why your blood pressure is high, your cholesterol's high. And again, the issue is when you go to a physician and you ask them for help, they give you more chemicals and more drugs, which only causes more problems. So if you're going to do it our way, we would increase your detoxification pathways naturally, right? Stop putting this stuff on you. Start eating really clean, whole foods. Start hydrating yourself. Increase your detoxifying food consumptions, broccoli, garlic, cilantro, fiber-rich foods, any green vegetable you can think of. And now here's the really cool part. God made your body able to get this stuff out naturally, and sweat is by far the best method of getting toxins out of your body. The problem is some of you have not sweat, like a really good sweat in a long time. And this is why it's very popular to go to saunas and sort of force the sweat out of you. And that's cool, but it's kind of like medicated sweat to me. Like just get on and start moving. Do some jumping jacks until you're sweating. Go for a run walk. Go for a run hike. Go for something that makes you drenched. You know, I was watching the Olympics this last week, and I noticed when the Olympians would come off the field and they would be interviewed, man, they are just drenched with sweat, and for a good reason. They were out there hoofing it. But they're also detoxing because of that. So when's the last time you hoofed it? When's the last time you said, you know, I'm going to park in the rear of the parking lot and run to the door. And instead of taking the elevator, I'm going to take the stairs. I'm going to run up the stairs. And I'm going to force my body to get so hot that I actually start sweating. See, today, we have this aversion to sweat. We put on antiperspirants and anti-deodorants. We I don't want to sweat. I don't want to. All that liquid has got to come out of you. So regular exercise, which promotes sweating, is really good. And this is why, again, sauna therapies, I like them. Infrared saunas, steam saunas, whatever kind of sauna you want. They're great because they help to get all that gunk out. Now, I know you're itching for it, right? Well, what are the products that we take, Dr. Ernst? Like, I don't want to do any of that. I just want to swallow a pill. Well, medications are going to make you sicker. So what we use is a combination of milk thistle. It's a great, gentle detoxifier for your liver. Glutathione, by far the best, and it must be liquid liposomal sublingual. All these other glutathiones that are powders that you stir into water, they're ineffective. Your stomach will break them down, and they won't work. Some people get IVs of glutathione. That's a great idea, but again, it's kind of expensive. $150 per IV once a week. It adds up. $600 a month. The average person goes, So we have formulated a under-the-tongue sublingual liquid liposomal active glutathione. It's an amazing product called Cell GSH. Activated charcoals, phenomenal. They are great. They will load your intestines. They act like sponges. They soak up all the crud, and they allow you to defecate the waste out. And if you're familiar with this, clinoptilite or zeolites with EDTA, you may need a physician or a holistic doctor to help you get some of this stuff. But EDTA is great. It's like a magnet. It grabs the stuff and it doesn't let go of it, and then you urinate it out. So watch this. If we stop putting it on us or in us, and we start eating really good, high quality, organic, clean foods, clean proteins and clean vegetables, period, nothing else. And we flush our body with clean water, and we clean out the air, and we clean out our body, metabolic syndrome can disappear. And I've seen people do this and lose 40 pounds in like a matter of months. I've seen diabetes go away. I've seen high blood pressure reset. So the question I have for you is, do you want that? And if you do, just download our new ebook, A Functional Medicine Approach to Metabolic Syndrome. It's yours free, guys. Everything you need inside of here. Just text your first name and your last name and your email and the word META. We need the code so it senses it through our system. META is the word. And boom, it's yours. It'll be sent to you, and you'll get access to next Saturday's masterclass. Not here during our show, not streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and X, but instead, it's a private masterclass where you can be invited to a room where I will teach you online how to heal, how to lose weight, how to reduce your medications, how to get your health and your life back by becoming your own doctor. If you want that, we've got 48 seconds, 704-906-2094. 704-906-2094. Whoops, you can call it, but it's going to go to a voicemail that says text your name, your email, and the word meta, and it's yours. Hey, next week, what I'll do probably is a master class, cliff notes to everything we've talked about for the last 4 weeks. So tune in for that if you'd like the skinny on it all. There's the text coming through. And guys, thank you so much for tuning in today. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day today. Remember, you have more power inside of you than the pills you swallow or the lotions and potions you rub on your body. And stay proactive, right? You get to be the one to make the powerful changes in your health. Join us next Saturday at 3 p.m. as we continue the conversation for your health. And if you have a question, AskDrErnst.com. That's why it says Ask Dr. Ernst. You ask your questions, we give you health answers. You can also tune in on all social streams with the phrase Ask Dr. Ernst. Until next week, be blessed. Bye-bye.